Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. Today's upload is going to be a long-range outlook, long-range update, whatever you want to call it. And it's going to be basically me discussing the weather pattern across the United States in terms of temperature, rainfall amounts, just in general the pattern outlook. And if you like these type of videos, if you like these forecasts, consider subscribing to my channel, consider liking the video. Helps my channel grow, helps my videos get out to more people. And it's just a very beneficial thing that you can do that's for free for you guys. And if you're new, just check out my channel, check out my videos, and then you can decide whether this channel suits your needs. If you're an older returning member and is still not subscribed, consider subscribing, helps out a lot. So let's get into this video. Right now what we're looking at is GFS 2 meter temperature, 2 meter GFS, or GFS 2 meter temperature anomalies, and this is in Celsius. And these averages are based on the 1981 to 2010 climate. So the averages of this, like the deciding whether, this is 1 degree above average. The average is based off these years. And this is basically telling you where the temperatures are below or above average at what time, which is right here, what date, which is also right here, and where marked by the colors. So let's get into this. Right now, as you can see, there's a lot of cooler conditions across much of the eastern part of the country. Some warmer conditions across the southeast, but nothing too sweltering, around average. But I am telling you guys, today we had a really chilly day here in Chicago. It was around 68, 69, 70 degrees, and our average is around 80. So much cooler conditions were with this, and I was expecting this. If you watch some of my previous videos, I was talking about how these cooler conditions will make their way. Also, what I mentioned, however, was that sorry, I need to click on this. Also, what I mentioned was that earlier, that after this cold weather, which will stick around, this cooler weather, not necessarily cold, will stick around for at least midweek through this week, but then towards the weekend time frame, you can see things really warm up. There's just red colors across much of the country. However, this is the new GFS run. Let me take you to the old one, since actually no, I'll use this one up until the new date. And you can see that we go through, and then there's like this system that passes through. You can see the cold front right there. Let me draw this out. Let's take our color, let's make it to black so it's more visible, and basically what we're looking at right here is a low, sorry about that, let's clear that, is a low right here with its cold front somewhere like this, and its warm front somewhere like that, and it's basically gonna bring much cooler conditions into quite a big part of the United States. Except the problem is, guys, with this, that you can see at 2 hours 234, that's how much this new model run goes out to. So let's switch to the previous one, the closest to this last one. You can see still very similar. We had the same cold front passing through with the storm and much below average conditions. You could see that actually northern part of the United States is going to be below average. Then we have this one storm that, again, it takes a more southerly track, so it brings up some warm air behind it, or in front of it, but then behind it, some much cooler air, and that continues. You can see just continues. So if you're wondering now what the actual temperatures are going to look like, let's just go back to hour 0. Right now, what we're experiencing during the daytimes, you can see, like I was saying, upper 60s, lower 70s, and excluding the southeast and parts of the parts of the mountain west. And then we move forward, and you can see that some frosts up in Canada, marked by those blue areas, but getting pretty chilly down here in northern Maine, upstate New York, just in general, upstate New England, parts of northern Michigan, UP of Michigan, and soon enough, with that next cool fall blast that will be occurring later on in the forecast region that I was showing you guys with that one model run, that could bring frost to many areas in the United States. So, generally, things warm up, like I said, around midweek through the weekend. You can see just 70s, 90s, 80s, and for this time of the year, that is very warm temperatures. So, very nice warm conditions. However, you can see that cool air mass is making its way down south and east. And right there, you can see that cold front sagging right through there. and that would have eventually bring much. I mean, look at this. This is the daytime, okay? So we are experiencing 80s, 70s, mainly 80s and 90s across the South here, Missouri, Central, not even the South, just the Central United States, Missouri, Central Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and then look right over here in the northern woods areas, or that's what it's called. You can see 50s, upper 40s. So this cool mass air, cool air cool air mass will bring much cooler conditions. I think the coolest ones we have seen yet this season, and we actually may be seeing a very strong fall blast towards the end of this month, or towards the mid part of September. And you can see what, like I was talking about the front. I mean, look, this is during the daytime. Thursday, September 20th, 55, potentially 60 degrees here, barely reaching the 60s here. So that's not even short weather. That's more like long sleeves and long pants and even a sweater, 50s and 40s. And like I was talking about, these frosts are creeping down into the United States, and soon we'll be seeing that across a lot of the country. But and then as go out 384, you could see that 40s and 50s make it down all the way almost to the Gulf Coast. So we are in a pattern right now where the temperatures are dropping quickly, the averages, and it's that very eventful, changeful time of the year where the temperatures are dropping quickly, and then just storms go crazy because due to those temperature fluctuations, we see those big fall storms. And I mean, look at that. I know the GFS may be a little bit over exaggerating this. This may not be 100% right, and I wouldn't even say this is I would even say the GFS has it like 80 or 70% down. It's just one of the models, and they're way too aggressive. I don't think we'll be seeing, near frost conditions in all the way to northern Illinois by September 23rd. Is it possible? Yes, it definitely is, but it just does not seem really likely. If we go to the Climate Prediction Center, you could see the 8 to 14 day outlook. It is warmer than average for much of the country. However, we got to keep in mind this only extends out to the 22nd of September, and we also got to keep in mind the Climate Prediction Center isn't perfect. It has its flaws for sure, but it's definitely it's above average, but it's not nearly as above average as it was showing earlier. If you saw my video a couple days ago, it was just bright red, like that color right in the four corner states, but that was spread across much of the country. Now it's just these lighter shades, and what these lighter shades mean, basically, the lighter the shades, the less confidence they have in the below above average conditions, which is forecasted as of now. So these areas, 40 to 50% chance of being above average, which isn't too terribly high, but isn't too low either. So we look, this is where I live, and you can see today or tomorrow it's going to be 69, 70, and then it warms back up into the 80s, but then we see that cooler air mass, and it could drop back things down into 70s, 60s, and you can see the nights get pretty chilly, 59, 58. And again, in the Weather Channel, this is the Weather Channel, they may be underdoing things. On the other hand, I would say somewhere in between, and I think that some 50s in the day, like 59, 58, are possible, especially towards the end of the month. So that is one cool thing to keep in mind. Literally cool thing, because we're expecting cool temperatures. And now let's focus our attention on just the pattern in terms of rain and storms. So let's go to hour 6 quickly here, and let's review this. So right now we have remnants of Tropical Storm Gordon across southern Illinois, southern Indiana, and that is producing quite a bit of rain across those areas. I think flash flood watches and warnings are all over that area. You can see that pushes through and eventually leaves the United States. We have a couple of systems passing through. You can see one low here, and we definitely need to focus on this hurricane down here. This is 946. This would be Hurricane Florence at this point, and we could be. You can see the GFS has backed down on this. It is showing not a direct landfall, but it's just showing this this major hurricane, just basically, taking a sweet old time around the outer banks of South Carolina, North Carolina. If this was further onshore and just stood around there for quite a bit, that would be an absolute disaster. That would lead to so much flooding rains, and it would just be prolonged. But I think it may be just off the shore far enough for it to be no impacts. I mean, that's what the GFS is showing right now. And again, yesterday, even one model run earlier was showing a different story. So this is still getting way too close to land to not keep an eye on it. So now let's switching away from the hurricane, switching back on land. You could see that the snow getting into the Rockies in Montana, and some, the chilly temperatures do produce snow. Obviously, it's already that time of the year where snow will start showing up on these maps. Further and further south. So we have a cold front right here associated with this low that passes through, nothing too significant. We have a high pressure in dominance, high pressure in charge, and this would be producing some cooler conditions across the country. So if you're wondering where the freezing line is on this thing, typically the 540 line, which is right here, is the freezing line. So following that line, you can see the area of frost or freeze would be somewhere along that line. So getting fairly far to the south, and supposedly we could get a big storm, towards the end of September. But again, this is just so far out, it's going to change for sure. But generally not too much of an active pattern once this remnants of Tropical Storm Gordon leave. A very calm, not much going on other than that hurricane that could be potentially impacting North Carolina, South Carolina. But otherwise, the temperatures will be the main story, and potentially the snow in parts of the upper states like upper Michigan, northern Maine, areas like that, and in the mountains. So that is basically it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I could actually show you the total accumulated precip before I go, and you can see that only without that last storm, not much rain is expected through mid next week. So you can see that area where that hurricane would be, that's plus 2 feet of rain. But hopefully that doesn't hopefully that doesn't shift its track or its path further onto the shore. But anything's possible. But then that last storm could produce quite a bit of rain. But that is basically it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something new, and I really appreciate you guys watching these videos. So consider subscribing, consider liking the video. I love you guys, and I'll see you all guys in the next episode.